There we go. So we're going to be on fire. So if you're watching us live on YouTube or LinkedIn, I think that's where we are right now. Welcome to Make It Rain with Trevor Crane. I'm the Trevor Crane guy. That bearded sexy bitch over there is Mr. Rob Miles, and this is the Epic Author Show. So I met Rob because he was uh, doing a book, and I'm helping him with this book. We're going to talk about his mission, what he's doing, how he's making it rain. And Rob, welcome to the show. And talk to me about, like, what's your vision, what's your mission, what's the dream, what are you trying to make come true? Talk to me.
I want to help simplify the banking system, or well, not even just the banking system, the funding system, and make business funding more available to everybody.
Well, and today we're going to talk about how you can fund your deal, your idea. Rob, who are the people that you are helping fund their vision? Are they entrepreneurs? Are they inventors? Are they business owners? Like, when you help somebody find the money and maybe bypass the traditional funding realm of banks and whatnot, how do you help them find money? Or, like, who do you actually help find money and what for?
I'm working with a little bit of everybody right now, so I have a couple that the easiest ones to do are commercial real estate. So that's number one. I do have a handful of CNI type funds that are going on that are a little bit more difficult, take a little bit more time.
What's CMI?
Consumer and I forget what the I is, but it's not secured with real estate. Um, so
Okay.
they're business loans unsecured. And then the one that's really
Okay.
taken off that I think is the most surprising is more like the venture capitalist type funds.
Okay, so let me go ahead and interject here and make a better intro for this show, possibly. So, if you have an idea and you want to, if you're a business owner or an inventor or an investor and you want to find money to make that dream come true, you're like this show, because I've known Rob now for going on a year. We're not at a year yet. But coming out with your new book, fund the deal, fund your deal. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a slide there of it. If you want to join the waitlist to get Rob's book, go check this out, because this will come out before the end of the year. And what Rob has been really good at is helping people find non-traditional funding to make their dreams come true. I know that you teach at university on this. We've gone back and forth on what are the best things to put inside this book, how you've been helping people, and let's just say making it rain, because we're on the Make It Rain show. So, by the way, if you want to, if you're watching this live, put in the word comment fund either on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, and we'll DM you the link to get some of the gifts that Rob's going to give away, to join the wait list to get his book. Um, but Rob, if you're helping people find the money for their deal, commercial real estate, or business ideas, how close am I, or is there more stuff that you're actually helping find funding for?
No, you're right on it. Commercial real estate, any type of business funding, and even some dry powder or venture capitalist funding.
What's dry powder mean? I really don't know anything. What's dry powder mean?
Startup business funding.
Okay. So startup business funding. Cool. And then, Rob, if you were to talk to me about, like, why this is so important for you to help people fund their dream and why you got into this in the first place, what's the answer? Like, why did you get into this and what's the situation?
I got into it because I moved from a bank. I was a commercial credit analyst in Dallas for a long time. And then my mom lived in Oklahoma and she was diagnosed with cancer. So moved here to help take care of her. She was also going through a divorce at the time, and went to work for a bank here. And they challenged me to find $5 million in lending before I could be promoted. So I started doing that. Had zero network in Oklahoma, so I started doing a bunch of networking in entrepreneur groups because I thought it was interesting. And the first time I'd really talked to like startup entrepreneurs. Um, and I would ask him, who's your banking relationship with? And they would just start laughing at me saying, no banks will talk to me. or they had bad relationships with banks or something. And really what I figured out was they were bankable. It's just the banking system would they're so conservative. They only want to do what fits inside their little box. And really, if you boil their business down and explain it the right way, they were bankable businesses. They just had a problem communicating with the banks. So I started this to help businesses communicate with the banks.
Mm. Well, and that's why when we started talking about this, I was a little confused because I thought you were primarily bypassing the bank system, but that's not it. It started because you were helping people that could get funding just properly communicate with the banks to get that funding, and that's where
Yep.
this began.
Yeah, absolutely. Best example I have right now is a client that I'm working with out of North Carolina. They are the typical entrepreneur that SBA should be helping, and they aren't because of the lack of communication, basically. But they the guy started, he was an expert in his field, but he had never ran a business. And so he started his own company because he was great at it, made some mistakes along the way, and needed funds to pay off some debt due to a bad business, a mistake he made in his business.
Mm-hmm.
And he had been trying to get funding for like 6 months. And it was the same story that I hear from everybody, that they started the SBA process and the banker kept saying, yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And then they would just go silent. They wouldn't even tell them, oh, your deal's declined. They would just leave them out to dry.
Mm.
Um, so after talking to him, we went through my one-on-one process. I helped them put together a business model that was in bank terms, and then we had two or three banks that were actually interested in funding the deal. So we're working through that process now.
And how long does that typically take? So, well, let's talk about this guy in particular. Like, when they were struggling, were they struggling for two days, 2 weeks, 2 years, or whatnot? And then how long does it help you? Does it take you to craft a message that would make sense to the lenders that might open up the funding?
Well, you're asking two different questions, really. So you're
Mm.
asking how long does it take to get funding, and how long does my process take? So
Yeah.
my process can take usually about a week to get a business model together.
Okay.
There's some variation in that depending on how complicated the deal is and things like that. But typically, about a week, I can get a business plan turned around and the cash flow model out. But what people don't really understand is the banking process. And if a bank is still asking for stuff, for information, for documents, that means your deal hasn't even started yet. And that's what most people get confused by. So your deal, the timeline on your deal doesn't start until you actually have a term sheet.
Mm,
And so a deal should only take, I've closed them in 15 to 20 days before, and I've closed them in 2 years.
hmm.
So it's just how quick can you get information back? How prepared are you? And when does the clock actually start is the differentiating factor. So through my process, I try to collect all the documents, get everything. I can usually get everything about 90% of the way, just because banks vary in what they want and don't want. So I can save months worth of time
Yeah.
by underwriting the deal before it goes to the bank.
And then you're looking at it to make sure it's properly communicated so that the bank isn't just red flagging it or not moving it forward. So if that
Yes.
is you said it's dependent on the speed of you getting back to them with the right information and then being prepared with that information so that you can make it happen.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Like who and like let's just get clear on who. Hold on. Let's talk about your vision and your dream again, so that we're clear about what it is that you're trying to create, why you're getting this book out to people. So, in as few words as possible, what you're trying to you said that you're trying to help people. What is it? What's the purpose here?
I'm trying, or I am helping people communicate with the banks. Well, actually, I'm trying to help more people get funding by clarifying the banking process.
Okay. And I know that you have funding that's outside the banking process because you and I have discussed now for almost a year how you found millionaires and billionaires that are investors, and you work with the people that have the ideas and the real estate that they need investing for that need the money, and then you also connect the people that have the money. So, um, is your vision and mission, and in the book, let me pop that up again for fund your deal, is it primarily that you're trying to help them go through the banking situation, or can people be just as successful funding their deal, finding money outside the normal traditional banking situation?
So when I started this, all I wanted to do was focus on the banking system because that's what I knew. But then through your process of interviewing, was it 100 people, and I forget, it was a lot, but and I lost count at some point. But I ended up meeting a lot of really cool people that were outside of the banking system that can also fund deals. So I actually learned a lot in that process about non-traditional lending. So yeah, I have grown it from just bank funds to now I'm working with venture capitalist firms and angel investors and some other grants. I've done a few grants now, so quite a few other processes.
Well, and I'm going to take that opportunity to toot your horn here a little bit and also give a frame of how we met and how that came about. So, I have a publishing company called Epic Author, and we help our authors become best-selling authors. But we only work with people who are business oriented and are going to make a difference with their message and make a difference with their book. And primarily, that means that it's leading them someplace beyond the book. And when I start this journey with Rob or with anyone, it's like, how do you validate your market and your messaging? Your market is who, your messaging is like your marketing, like what are you saying to people? And then so that you can do that before you publish. So Rob's already a number one best-selling author, and he clarified his message with the marketplace by interviewing people. So I'm interviewing you. I think we're in the interview economy. I think that this is like we have a president right now who went through interviews and podcasting. I think everybody knows who Oprah is. She used interviewing. Like, it is a framework of how you can grow your reach, relationships, and revenue. And in this case, what Rob just shared is that he did 100+ interviews in a short period of time. Let's say the first 90 days is typically what I suggest. And that it challenged his preconceived ideas of what it meant to fund the deal and clarify the messaging around it. And in the course of doing that, how many multimillionaires did you connect with? And then tell them the story about the billionaire who said the thing that said the thing, because I want you to say the thing instead of me. When you said he's richer than this, and I can't remember what you said.
Yeah, so it was really interesting because I started this business 2019 when I left the bank. And when I first started, I was calling around to a lot of banks and a lot of people, and I couldn't get in the door to most places. But after saying I'm working on the book, so many more people, the floodgates kind of opened, and those 100 interviews became pretty easy. Um,
And then what did you clarify? Like, what was the interview for? Because I'm interviewing you right now, and I'm
right.
wanting you to reveal your secrets. I'm like, okay, what are you trying to do? Who are you trying to do it for? And how do you go about doing it? We'll get to the how here a little bit more. I always want people to know like what we're talking about. Like, if you want to fund your deal, if you want to have somebody help you find the money, then comment fund in the live, or like go to, I'll give the slides again here because I want people to get your book that'll come out before the end of 2025, depending on when you're watching this. But like, dude, what was the purpose of the interviews beyond beyond just using it as a marketing tactic or ploy? Because that's not what it is, although it has the benefit of you and I are doing this live right now and we can connect with one another. But when you were interviewing people, what were you trying to discover? Because you already knew what you were doing about finding the deal and making monies for people, or find the money for people. What was the what were the interviews about?
So my biggest challenge initially was finding people who could fund deals. And then so my messaging was pretty simple. I was like, hey, I am an analyst, so I do have credible experience in what we're talking about. And I'm writing a book to help people get money faster. So it actually was a benefit to them as well because they didn't have to do as much work underwriting and getting the deal going. So it was a benefit to them because they're talking to somebody who does have experience. and also a benefit to the banks because it's going to help them in the long run. But from there, it grew into, oh, I actually like what you're talking about. Here's this guy that's been trying to get funding for a long time. Can you help him out? And then it was just a whole bunch of networking after that, and ended up meeting some cool people, including mob bosses. Um, that was the more interesting. I met Samsung, their head of venture capitalists funding. There were some interesting ones in there.
Well, how about the guy that you said was richer than Elon Musk and or smarter than something and richer than someone? What was that story? Because that was
Yeah,
fun. Because
let's see.
man,
I was introduced to this guy. The introduction I got to him was he is smarter than Elon Musk and richer than God. I'm not. The guy is brilliant and he is very rich. I'm not sure he's smarter than. Great guy. I still work with him quite a bit. Um, but yeah, he buys and sell. Well, he buys mainly commercial real estate all over the country, and
Mhm.
so he likes my process. He doesn't need the funding, but he likes the analysis that I do because I analyze all the commercial real estate that I send to him, just like a commercial real a credit analyst would.
Mhm.
And so he gets high class information or high level information on any property that I send him across the nation.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and outline how cool this strategy is again, because I love the interview process. I'm launching Make It Rain right now. We're trying. I'm working on going live on LinkedIn and YouTube and beyond, so that we can find an audience here that can comment and chat and join the conversation. So, chat fund if you want to find out how you can find money faster. Like if you want to find money faster, this is what I just learned from Rob. Like that's what he does. He helps you find the money faster. Okay. What he used was a strategy of announcing he was going to get a book done, and then interviewing people for it. And what you just heard him say is that while he had been working at this for a while, announcing that he was working on a new book opened doors and had conversations that he hadn't had before. So he asked for introductions to cool people, and he met a whole bunch of them, some venture capitalists and different things. He met millionaires, he met billionaires. And this guy, that in this case, we're talking about someone really rich and really smart who helps fund big deals. And the conversation then is one that's collaborative for you to find these new partners that you can work with, and it has expanded the scope of what not only you're learning but on the connections that you can give people. And so I want to point out that this wouldn't have happened if you hadn't started the interview process and had the courage to say, you know what, there's probably something more I could learn about my subject matter. I'm writing a book on it. Who do you know? Or can I interview you and can I talk to you? And then it opens up a floodgate of new opportunities. Now, good for you, dude. I tell a lot of people go interview 100 people as fast as possible and they don't freaking do it. Tell them how you did it, because you took action that not a lot of people will take because of fear or skepticism or whatever. Like, what did you do? Because I know I recommend, hey, just jump on Zoom and start doing these right away. But you did something slightly different to create a belly to belly experience with people that opened up the floodgates of opportunities for you. And I know within a short period of time, you had hundreds of thousands of deals in the pipeline, and that all has, I don't know, what'd you say, 15 days to 2 years to close a deal. But you had a lot of new business opportunity in the first little bit. What did you do?
I think the best thing I did was going around to a bunch of the networking groups here. Two or three of them really latch on, and they're one in particular that I'm still working with. I think is the reason I hit number one bestseller because they launched it to everybody. And then it was just being really good at identifying the problem, understanding the issues, and then asking for the referral. So too many
So
people do
so and
interviews.
so hold on. And here's the thing. So you, because we got started working together, you decided, okay, I'm going to go connect with a network with people that I might be able to connect with. So you joined groups or you went to this networking events. Great. And
Mhm.
then you went there, and what I'm hearing, I'm trying to read between the lines here on what you actually did. You announced to that group you're working on a book. And then you asked for introductions. And then when you started meeting people, you would ask them questions, even in this networking context, about what their challenges were or problems, like what are the problems you're having? How can I help you? So then you showed up to help and serve. So you announced
Yep.
that you were getting something done. You had to put yourself out there to go to this damn ass group, belly to belly, and then like try connecting with them. And then as you met people, instead of just telling them, hey, I'm Rob and I'm really sexy and I've got this big ass beard, and look how I can do something for you, you said, hey, I'm working on a book. You started asking them questions, you selfish bastard. And then about them and what they wanted and what their challenges were. Oh my God, that's fucking amazing. And then you helped them. You said, hey, well, here's some of my suggestions and advice. How
Yep.
close am I? Because let's just break it down with what people got to do from here to there. They got to fucking decide they're going to do something and then go do something. What am I missing? What would you correct on what you actually did?
I used your exact framework. It's been a while, so help me get through this because I'll put it in my own terms instead of yours.
Yeah.
But it's where are you at? Where do you want to go? And what do you need to get there? Right.
Mm. Okay.
So that's exactly how I went about it, and
Okay.
it works.
So let's break that down because that was pretty good. I'm gonna draw. Ideally, this will be a good drawing. Let me see. Can I do this so I can put this in here? Can you see my face as well? Maybe not
Yep.
exactly. So you said use a framework of asking. So let me frame this. You announce. Can you see me drawing while I'm talking here at the same time? Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's my writing. That's my penmanship. So ask, or excuse me. So you announced that you're going to be working on a book and whatnot. Then you asked, well, you asked questions, but you also asked for interviews. And you'd ask
Yep.
someone like, hey, can I interview you? Or can you give me an introduction? So that would be interview or introduction. And then when you started having the conversations, let's say at this networking group and beyond, you ask questions, and I like to take notes in something I call a value map. And this is something that helps you figure out what's valuable to another human.
Hmm.
So the Q&A on this is valuable to them. Now you get to learn a lot as well. This is your value map. And you said, hey, where are you now? And that's like if you go to the mall and you're trying to find Starbucks, you're like, okay, where's the red dot? So the red dot would be like, where are you going? So you're like, hey, where do you want to go? And they're like, I want to raise money for this new venture, this new idea. And they'd say, oh, I want money. And you're like, whoa, well, where are you now? And they're like, well, and they start telling you, and they'll probably tell you if you have a little conversation that lasts a little bit longer. Grab a different pen here. Um, they'll probably tell you, you know what, Rob? It's been hard. Like this is the desire that they have. I want to raise money, but then they'll say, I've talked to those banks and they won't help me. Like I've been working at it for some time. This kind of sucks. And so this is the fire and this is the desire. And then if you get clear about where they are, then you can start helping them with the steps in between. Now, I typically, just as a framework for everybody, because I didn't know I was going to be talking about this, but like I'll write down everything about where somebody is here, and then I talk about everything that they want over here. And then my advice typically lands in the middle. And I know, Rob, this is the framework that's my visual framework that I use for like the Q&A.
Hmm.
But talk to me about what that was like having those conversations with people and what that opened up for you. Because you didn't just have 100 conversations, not pay any damn ass attention to what you were getting. What did that open up? And am I right? That's what you did? Because I want, instead of it just being like, look how great I am for creating Trevor, how great Trevor is to create that framework. Is that what you did? How did you modify it? Because there's a difference between I say jump on Zoom and talk to anyone and going to a physical event and what else did you do that wasn't here? And what did that lead to?
Uh, I think the only real modifications I had, you have a great script on how to get started, but I've been in sales a while, so I kind of have an idea of how to ask questions to get to what I really want. And so I think the key is really asking the right questions and understanding like how to put it together. So too many people want to ask questions and jump into the answer, but it's more about letting them just talk. And sometimes it's just letting them vent. Um, but you really get to know people that way. And so many people are dying to be heard that you end up growing a pretty decent bond with people just by asking questions.
Okay. So here's what I'm gonna. I'm just noticing we're at the top of the hour, so we're gonna need to wrap this up. So, um, I could talk to you all day, dude, and I'm really excited for you to have a podcast for funding your deal. And I think people would show up to talk to you and listen to you all the time, because I know you know how to do these things. So I'll share this my notes again. I'm always liking to take notes. So I was just drawing this out for you guys. What Rob did is he announced he's going to be working on his new book, which will come out before the end of the year. So if you want to join the wait list for that, please go to epic.media/Rob, and you can join the wait list and he can notify you when the book comes out. He's already a #1 bestseller with this book. There's a QR code here for you to do it. Comment fund in the chat on LinkedIn or YouTube or wherever you see this. And then let me see here. I've got your book here as well. This is the version of your book. But what Rob did and what you can do is you can follow his same steps of, I mean, this is how to create more abundance in your life and connect with more people and become a better communicator and whatnot. And this is your framework using with my what you did, Rob, using my language. You announced you're going to be doing something. That's the first thing I'm always asked. I'm like, hey man, what's the dream? What do you want to do? And like, oh, I want to help make funding faster. I find the money faster. So that's great. You ask for introductions and interviews, and then you have a way to capture that. And this was my example of the value map, which is what you probe these. What Rob said though was that he listened. So he gave them the space to go ahead and find out what actually moved and motivated them. And he said, because of his background in influence and sales, that listening is where you dig down a little deeper. Like I try to do today, like I try to connect a little deeper and find out what. And then same thing here is you're probing to try to find out what makes people tick. And that means shutting the hell up and listening sometimes. So, dude, phenomenal. Let me ask you this question. What would be, other than releasing this book before the end of the year, what would be a big goal that you have right now, either like in the next, like let's say 90 days and 1 year from now? Because I want to invite you back when this book comes out, plus something. Because my coaching is always to profit before you publish. And that's what we've done with Epic Author for a long time. This is like our series of Epic Author shows. So I'm interviewing a lot of our successful authors. What would be some new success benchmarks for you? Because you and I actually haven't talked for a couple of months, and I don't know what you're doing now, what's cooking and whatnot. What are the things that you are trying to get done in the next 90 days, in the next year or more? Because I want to invite you back to celebrate a big win. And I want to have the framework where you're like, hey, remember I said on the show I was going to do whatever? Well, like, whatever. Like I did the thing. So Rob, what's next? And what's something other than the book coming out that I can invite you back for to celebrate?
I've got two deals that I'm working on. One of them is a $40 million deal, and one of them is an $80 million deal. I'm under NDA on both of them, so I can't go into specifics.
Okay.
But both of them are moving along very quickly, and it would be life-changing money to get those deals closed.
Okay. So closing a big 40 to 80 million dollar deal or both would be a good time to have you
Both.
back.
They will both hit national news. That's how
Dude,
big they are.
both. Okay, well, I want to help you
Both.
with both. Let's set that. So we'll bring you back for both, and then at that time, will you be able to share with us some of the insights of how you made that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Okay.
documenting all of it because I want to write it about it in the book. So,
Oh, dude. So hopefully you're trying to close out before the end of the year.
one of them for sure. I think next week we'll have a lot of really good information on whether or not it's going to close or not by the end of the year.
All right, man. Well, I truly think you have a phenomenal message and that you can actually help people get this thing done. And I can't wait to see more of the media that you're going to put out and content you're going to be put out. One of the reasons why I wanted to interview you in the first week we've launched this podcast is I believe you should have your podcast and your consistent content channels where you're like, I think we name everything just, let me pull up your book again, Fund Your Deal. And you can have the
Mhm.
Fund Your Deal podcast, Fund Your Deal community, and whatnot. Oh, dude, I forgot to even ask. This will be the last thing before we wrap it up. What are the gifts that you're giving away today? Because I always want to see what would you like to give our audience. And so, yeah, join the wait list. Go to epic.media/Rob. We should probably put up whatever gifts you've got there, dude, so they can have it as well. But what is your your call to action, your link, your whatever. Maybe it's this or something else. What are the gifts you're giving away? Because I always want my guests to have the opportunity to give away even more gold. So what would that be for you?
So the first gift is a one-on-one. This is something I do with all my clients. I normally charge about $1,000 up front. But if it's for a commercial real estate and you've watched this and joined the wait list and whatever, then the first 10 people I will do completely free just to get it going.
Okay. And how do they do that? So, dude, you're gonna give away a one with you, 1-to-1, and would you call it a deep dive?
Deep dive.
Okay. How are they gonna go do that? Do they need to go through the link I gave you, or is there something else?
Yeah, the link, I believe the QR code goes to my stuff, right?
It should. So go to the QR code, go to epic.media/Rob, and or go, let me see, put the slides up again. Go to the QR code here, and you should be able to join the wait list to get his book. But we'll have something there. And if it's not there the second, just pay attention. I'm sure the team will put something up there soon, and your calendar is going to fill up. So that's 10 opportunities for a one-on-one with you to do like what that's the initial deep dive that you would do to help create that, would you say, the business plan and the cash flow system, cash
Yep.
flow. Yeah.
And never
Which is
let technology get in the way of a good deal. So if you need to get a hold of me otherwise, you can email me at rob@avenuecre.com.
okay. Rob at avenuecre.com.
Yep.
Rob at, say it one more time.
avenuecre.com.
Okay, so that we got that in there 3 times. So don't let technology stand in the way. Just send him a direct message. And if you're the first 10 people, you get that. What are you going to do for anybody who's after number 10?
We're actually launching a masterclass too. So it's through the networking group that I was just talking about. We're publishing it through all of their inter or national campaign stuff, but it's a masterclass walking through my book and how to create your own business plan. Typically, it's about a $500 buy-in, but for this, we'll give it away. We'll let you join and watch the class for free.
Dude, that's fantastic. And I know that people who join the wait list to get your book have the chance. I'm gonna plant the seed that you're gonna start your new podcast and new YouTube channel and new community. And I'm gonna challenge you to just make it free for people to join your community, and they can join whatever that looks like. And I'm completely throwing. Are you willing? Are you open to doing that? Because I've been talking to you for a while about doing it. We just haven't. Like, is that? Are you cool with doing that? So people who's joined the wait list to get your book, that will start a community and then have more consistent, beautiful, red-haired, bearded Rob
Yeah, if you can
bastard
help me set all
talking to
that
you.
up, then absolutely, because
Okay, I
that's
hope you
the
set
only thing holding me back at
Okay, I
this
hope you
point.
set all that stuff up. We'll have it set up ideally within days so that you can start it and then you can try to help serving people and whatnot. So, dude, it's great to have you. I'm going to keep going live right now. So I want to I'm going to give you one more chance to go ahead and say anything else you'd like to say to our audience for the official podcast. Then we'll go kind of behind the scenes and we're going to stay live today because I've got some back-to-back podcasts. So if you're here for one of the first times and you're connecting with Make It Rain with Trevor Crane, that's the show. This is Rob Miles. Go check out his stuff. But I've got 3 more guests we're going to be interviewing today. You're going to see a little bit of the pregame and the postgame because we're about to end today's live show. If you want to join us live, go to jointrevor.com and you can join us live. And I didn't give you a chance, Rob, to see if there's any questions from, so if Sarah or Len, if there's any questions, we're going to about wrap this show up, but we can still keep going for a few minutes, Rob, as we finish. So Sarah and Len, get ready. If there's any questions from the Peanut Gallery, we can answer those next. Rob, last words to the world before we wrap this show up.
Um, I would just encourage you go through the interviews, hit it hard, go through it, and learn, because the book that I wrote is very open ended about a lot of different industries because most industries are the exact same. They just use different words, right? But getting into it now, I wish I would have done a more targeted book, which will be books 2, 3, 4. I wish I would have wrote one about commercial real estate. I'm interviewing a whole bunch of people about the film industry, which is fascinating because nobody knows how to get funding in film. It's really interesting. And then I've had a couple other ideas on how to get funding. So different industries that have a hard time getting funding.
All right. Well, interview your way to the top. I like it because we can talk to cool people and expand your reach, relationships, and revenue by using interviews. And Rob, always a pleasure to have you. Can't wait to have you back after you close those 40 to $80 million deals. And good luck if you, for those of you that have the good fortune of connecting with Rob one on one. Last pitch here. Go to Epic Media / Rob to pick that up. And then you can get to the masterclass and beyond. So, Rob, great to have you here, and thanks for being on the show. And I'll have you back as soon as you make millions. That'll be fun. So, cool. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And to wrap stuff up, I've got a very technical way I'm going to share everybody that we are in the. Hold on, we were in the pregame. That's not going to work. I need the post game. So check it. This is my tech on this one. Oh, we can't use that. That's too green. Rob, you're great, man. I can help you with that podcast and the thing. So we'll put that together soon because the framework of everything we're doing here, not that you need to go live all the time because there's more moving parts with that. This is the
Problem
post.
is, a lot of the stuff I'm doing now, I have to sign NDAs for.
Well, you know what? I think that's even better, man. Because if you talk about, let's bring David, our next guest, into the waiting room. If you, if you if you can't tell me something, I just want to know more about it. So if you can tell me
True.
anything around it, then it creates this open loop of wanting me to want more. And I think that's the magic when I'm interviewing you. And I know we're live and we're talking behind the scenes here, but I want to ask questions in such a way that gets anybody who cares about your subject matter to want more, to go ahead and say, I want more from you. And if you tell me, hey, I'm working on this big $40 million deal, I can't tell you anything about it. I'm like, dude, I want to know what happens next. It's a really great story of that is an open loop that makes me want to tune into the next episode to find out how that shows up. And I know that when we were bragging, oh, need to get closer to my mic. I know that we were bragging that you had closed or that you had contracted in a short period of time hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of deals when you started the interview process. Not all of those pulled through. Like, and part of I think what everybody wants to see is the mud on your face when you fail. Now, not
Hmm.
that everybody wants you to fail, but like, I don't know, when there's a traffic accident, people pull over to rubberneck and say, "Ah, man, who's dead on the concrete," or whatever the deal is. And so I think just you have such this freaking Opie Cunningham like voice and like approach. Like you just make me like everybody like this I'm fucking that was like Opie was in the Andy Griffith show like a hundred
Yeah, I
thousand
know.
years ago. Back in they even started that TV show when it was black and white. But what you are is you're trustworthy, you know? Um hold on. It was Opie and Richard Cunningham. It was Happy Days was the other thing I was referencing. Okay. So, dude, like you're just a trust, you have a voice and a presence about you that just engenders trust. And so the fact that you have secrets and things you can't say makes you more compelling. And the fact that you're in the marketplace doing it and working with people and you're willing to go take action, just documenting that I think is very interesting. Like I want to know more about you and what you're doing every time we connect. So,
Dude, it's getting wild. I had a meeting the other day with royalty. I had to sign an NDA. I can't say who it was or where he's from, but the Trump administration brought him in. And then the next week, I got a call from the fucking governor. I'm like, I was sitting in my first meeting the other day where somebody dropped the T word in total revenue. I'm sitting here going, what the hell am I doing here?
what's the T word in total revenue? What's
Trillion.
Oh, whoa. Trillion.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. Dude, this project is so big, they're having to pull a resource from this other country through the royal family because it doesn't produce there's not enough production in the United States to do it. I'm just like,
Wow.
what the fuck am I doing here? How did I get here?
So how did you get here? Like what was the what I mean, and I want you to say that it's because of your book and the conversations that we've had, but please don't insert that if it's not accurate. But like, how did you get where you are with this? I know it's a combination of things, but but what is it?
I mean, the book really started the ball rolling, but then it was just networking and communicating after that. So, I mean, the book is the thing that put me on the map. And then
Mhm.
it was, it took about a year for people to really catch on that what I'm doing is different. And then it was
Mhm.
just networking. So,
Well, here's the
like
thing.
the royal family was part of the $40 million deal, and the governor was part of the $80 million deal. So,
So here's the thing. I saw this YouTube video recently, and someone. Okay, hold on. I'll frame it this way. There ain't no money in your living room. Like nobody's coming over and knocking on your door and just handing you deals and handing you money. You got to put yourself out there.
mhm.
The artist that paints beautiful things and then puts them up in their garage and opens the door ain't probably going to be discovered. You got to get out there into the world and into the marketplace and go ahead and talk to someone about something. And like, you need to be in circulation, I think is what I had watched someone say on a YouTube thing. So, dude, great to have you here. I just changed your name to David Wilkinson. Now it says underneath your face right here. But David's going to be our next guest. We are in the pregame and the postgame of going from one podcast to the next. So, Rob, great to have you here. Thanks a lot, brother. Have you met David here and connected
Yeah,
yet or
we
not
were going
yet?
to set up a time to talk, and then I think I dropped the ball on it. So I've
God.
also lost my email address because I'm technically illiterate. So,
I'm gonna
Well,
put my email address in right now, Rob.
okay.
and for those of you watching and you want to hear a little bit of behind the scenes and how, oh, you know what? Let me ask Len and Sarah if there's anything to any comments or questions that we got from the peanut gallery before Rob bails, and then Rob, you can address those if these guys can if they have anything. So Len, is there anything that we had comments during the show?
We don't have any questions. We had one who commented fund, and I know that we already sent a message to him.
Okay, awesome. One dude. Hey man, that is better than none.
I'll take it.
My wife said to me the other day, something happened in our bedroom and it happened pretty quickly. And she said, honey, 1 minute in heaven is better than no minutes in heaven. I'm not bragging about that accomplishment, but she's not wrong. 1 minute in heaven is better than none. So um so, dude, you guys should really connect, and I'll help you with the next steps of this. The intention of going live here, brother, is that we get this out right away, and then our team will hopefully edit some awesomeness out of it. So you've got some pieces and clips that showcase how brilliant you are. I'm going to transition over here to David. David, we are live, I believe, on LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time. And so if you've got anybody you want to join us, go to jointrevor.com. You can send them David or Rob. They can check out the live show. And then we'll give people the chance to ask questions and things in the future. And Len, I know I'm recording this right now and we are live. Next time I ask you if anybody has a question, let's at least come up with one. Like you could write it out. You can be like, I
Mhm.
have a question. Like, we have a question here from a random, this is just a random person that has a question. Like, Len just would come up with a question. It'll be like, and I'll be like, oh my God, like we have a lot of questions out there. But like, well, I'm cool with that. Like, let's, because I got questions. I got more questions. I'll come up with a question. Okay. Instead of one, none. Come on, man. Let's make it seem like we're freaking really cool. Okay. And it'll be
You have to
real.
hop off there. So it's good to see you
Okay.
guys.
Peace out, dude. Thank you. Okay, David, you have a little bit of some big shoes to fill. Rob's pretty freaking entertaining, and he has a better beard than you. Although everybody's got a better beard than me. So, so David, what are the gifts we're going to give away? And then Len, I need to make sure I can update my slides so that I can so that I can make sure I can drop the link and stuff like that. We're going to do this raw right here behind the scenes. So if you guys don't want to watch that, then tune out. But if you want to see the behind the scenes things, that's why this is
Yeah,
pregame and postgame.
yeah,
So, David, what are we going to give away
yeah.
today? And what are the links and QR codes and stuff I'll need?
Trevor,
So,
one
oh,
sec. I can turn off the live for now so that we have a clean episode. That okay?
Sure. If that's how we're going to do it, that sounds great. So
Yeah.
go ahead and turn it off, and then we can turn it back on and go live the next couple of minutes. And it looks like my video is glitching right now. So I'm like a little delayed. So I'm not sure what's going on. We may need to refresh anyway.
Okay. Okay, and we're